So we'll talk about pelvis on femur, internal rotation, and pitching. When you move down the mound, you don't end up in external rotation, you actually end up in relative internal rotation because it's a top-down rotation and the pelvis rotates on the femur. So if we look at internal rotation, I'll get a little closer here. So when we look at internal rotation, just axial internal rotation here, you can see how the ball actually rotates in the socket. When I take it up in abduction and flexion, it does this. Well, we have to also account for when the foot is on the ground in closed kinetic chain that the knee rotates as well. And that can give you your knee out or vertical shin as you're talking about. Here, when the pelvis rotates this way, this allows them to be closed from the target. Otherwise, they would be open to the target with external rotation. So vertical shin, open to the target, you can see the orientation of the pelvis versus closed from the target with their pelvis is here. It's also very important because we have to lengthen posterior glute med, external rotators, like the gemellus muscles, obturator muscles, piriformis. We have to lengthen all those muscles in the transverse plane to allow them to elastically contract later in the throw. So it's super, super important, but we have to keep in mind the foot is on the ground. And if we were gonna see that external rotation in this position, the pelvis would have to be relatively open, or the foot would have to be turned open, like you mentioned. But I think it's very, very important because we have to consider how the posterior glute med, glute max, and those small little intricate external rotator muscles, how important they are to lengthen and then contract later in the throw. You know, generally when we see an external rotation in the beginning of the throw, it's an athlete who's opened this. It's not always a valgus position that you're showing here with internal rotation. Internal rotation occurs this way too, and now I have a vertical shin placement as I move forward, but my pelvis is rotating. You can absolutely see that in a video.